So what we're doing simply with our vision elements is trying to classify, to categorize each different part of our life so we don't miss something. Because the tendency for us is to kind of focus, we talked about focus earlier, on one or two or three specific things, and the other things kind of fall by the wayside. Now we certainly, when we're looking to improve certain different vision elements, we have to kind of prioritize, because there's no way we can work on everything at once, because then we do nothing. If anybody here has ever tried to do 10 different things at once, oftentimes, chase 10 different squirrels, doesn't work. So we're gonna go through these individually. The wants are the things that would be nice to have that you'd really like to have. For some of you, it could be motorcycle. For others of you, it could be a relationship. It could be anything. These are a little bit ambiguous, admittedly, because they're so subjective.
Yeah.
The next one, spiritual. What do you want your spiritual life to look like? What do you want, if this is even important to you, what do you want the relationship with your Creator to be like? What do you want your prayer life to look like? Maybe your charitable part of your spiritual walk as well. Your serving side of things. How about your family life? What do you want your family life to look like? Be specific, whether it's with a spouse, a child, a brother, sister, parent, in-law. And by the way, family can be described as, some of us have friends that we consider family members because they're so close to us, and that's okay too. Again, is there any right or wrong with any of this? No. Family and friends is next. So what do some of us haven't hung out with our friends or talked to our friends in years. So what do you want your friendships to look like? Do you want a bunch of friendships that you talk to frequently? Do you want a few deep relationships that are really meaningful and fulfilling? What does that look like for you? It's going to be different for all of you. Some of you want to have, to keep up with 100 people. Some of you may have 2 people that you really want to be close with. And for you, those few quality relationships mean way more than the masses and the volume of several more superficial friendships. No right or wrong. Health. What does your health look like? Let's talk. And by the way, health can even by itself mean, it can mean maybe our blood work and our blood pressure is good and our triglyceride levels are great and our HDL, LDL levels are in balance, and that's that side of things. Or it could be we have 10% body fat, or it could be we have abs, or it could be we have energy and we feel vibrant and we feel sexy and we feel fit. Like health is different for everybody. Or maybe it can mean you can run a marathon, or maybe it means you can walk a mile. Totally up to you and what that looks like. That's your health. Your charitable life. So what does it look like either in terms of your volunteering and your serving, or even your finances? Your money. Like where do you put things? What kind of purposes and causes beyond and higher than yourself, above yourself, bigger than yourself, do you contribute to? Either in time or money. And by the way, some of these you may look at and be like, well, that doesn't apply to me. And that's okay. Not all of these, all of you will value to the same extent. Personal gratification. This is kind of like, what kinds of things get you excited, get you juiced, get you really kind of amped up, and you really just feel a sense of like joy when you do them. This could be something, it could be serving, or it could be like, skydiving, or it could be, going down and walking around like your state park that's down the street from your house. So, by the way, what if, I want to give you an example. So what if on my vision is to, I want to go walking with a family member, and I also want to, let's just say that. I just want to go walking with a family member. Does that go under health? Does it go under family, or does it go under personal gratification?
All of the other.
Yes. That's the answer. Okay? If you ask me where something's going to go, I'm going to say yes. Because it doesn't matter. It does not matter. And you're going to see overlap. Check this out. Hobbies. Could hobbies and personal gratification overlap?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. What kind of things do you do for fun? The reason why we're including so many different vision elements is to make sure you don't forget something. We want to simply make sure you don't have an oversight where you forget something that's important simply because you didn't have the category to put it in. So these absolutely can overlap. You could have a hobby that you want to do with friends that also contributes to your health and also lets you serve, and it connects with you with spiritually. Like, it doesn't matter. All we're trying to do is capture. All we're trying to do is make sure you don't miss something that's important to you, and so put it wherever you want. And here's just a small tip. If it shows up in several different categories, under several different vision elements, there's a good chance it's very important to you. So you want to take a hard look at that. Next one, no regrets. This is kind of like a bucket list, but it doesn't have to be a bucket list like jumping out of a plane or hiking Kilimanjaro if that's not your thing. Maybe it's what we talked about earlier. Maybe it's calling someone, forgiving someone, having a conversation with someone, or anything along those lines, right? Maybe an estranged relationship that you want to rekindle, or maybe it's just like getting some other part of your life in order that you really feel like it's been kind of on the side burner that you want to make a priority. Business, we're not going to do. All right? Everybody with me on that?
Yep.
We're not going to do business. We're focusing on life at this event. We want to make sure life is right first because we cannot possibly design the business we want unless we know what life is going to look like and what we want our life to be. So we're going to skip this. Now, a couple things. Here's some suggestions. These are important. They're in your workbook as well. Number one, do not filter or edit. This means write like a kid at Christmas that's asking for whatever you want. I remember Sean McCloskey had asked his son Lucas, like, what do you want for Christmas, buddy? And he's like, Dad, I want a helicopter. He's like, oh, awesome. Like, what kind? Like, like how big? Like, like this or like this? Like remote control? He's like, Dad, no, I want a helicopter. Like a real helicopter. Kid's 6 years old. I was like, what? And so that's how I want you to think. Pretend that there's a genie. And I think that's actually one of the things to do up here.
His name is Peter.
You can rub a lamp, genie pops out, tells you what you want. That's what you want to do. Don't filter or edit. Don't make it dependent on, let me pop these up all at once. We'll go through it. Don't make it dependent or in any way influenced by where you are right now in life. This is huge. This is what's going to keep a lot of you from really dreaming here. Forget about your circumstances. Forget about your situation. Forget about your problems or or whatever's going on in your life right now. Or like, I can't do this because of this. I can't do that because of that. So you want to forget all that for now because now you're filtering. All I'm asking you to do when we do this assignment is just to dream without restriction, without boundaries. Let it come out in a way that is not dependent on where you are right now in any way or modified or influenced by that. Stream of consciousness. This means just writing as fast as you can without kind of filter for grammar, for sentence structure, for does this sound eloquent. Just get it out. This is like a pen vomit on your paper. Okay? You're just getting it out and like it's going out, and you are just putting it all out there without any kind of form of consciousness. We already talked about this. Lottery. Pretend you won the lottery, you won $50 million, and money was not even a concern. What do you want in each of these different vision elements? What would you do? What would you have? What would you be? Present tense. This is just a little tip. You're going to want to write this as if it's already in existence. The reason why you don't say something like, I will this, is because when you write I will, that by definition almost, by its context, puts it out in front of you, and it's constantly going to be in front of you. I will means you never are. So I know it seems silly, but we're just going to use present tense. So instead of saying, I will be healthy, say, I am healthy. Instead of saying, I will be vibrant, say, I am vibrant. Instead of, I will be sexy, I am sexy. Those kinds of things. Or, I will have a great relationship with my dad. I do have a great relationship with my dad. Those kinds of things. Focus on the positive. Don't say what you don't want. I'm not angry all the time. That's not a good thing to say, because whatever you say is what you picture. I can't say blue elephant and you all not picture blue elephant right now. Yeah. Do you see that? Don't say I don't sleep in late, or I'm not lazy, or I'm not short-tempered. Right? I am patient. I am kind. I am excited. Put it in positive. You can take the same thing, you just flip it. Someone want to give me an example of something they're thinking of they're having a hard time with? And this one in particular is important. Do you guys understand where this is going?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so if you say the don't, or I won't, or I shouldn't, or I can't, get rid of that stuff. You just got to reframe it to positive. So I gave some examples here. Does everybody kind of see how that works a little bit? All right, we'll be around, by the way, if you guys have more questions on this. If you're not excited, if you're not right, this should not be an assignment where you're like, oh, this sucks. Like, if you're doing that, you're not getting it. Remember how last night I said if you're not feeling it, if you don't feel something in here, you're probably not on the right track? Same thing here. If you are not, guys, this is your life. This is the life you are creating that you can live. This should be awesome. This should be like blow your mind exciting. So if you're not excited, you're not on the right track. You're writing what somebody else wants for you. You're writing what you believe you should want. What society or whoever implanted in your brain that this is something I should be pursuing. I mentioned the example before about the kids, right? The lady decided, like, I don't even like kids. Don't put that stuff on there. So you should be excited about it. If you're not excited about it, I would pause and say, is this really mine or is this somebody else's? Only one rule with all of this. One rule, real simple, easy rule to abide by. Well, I shouldn't say easy, it's simple. Maybe it's not easy. Don't mention money. You cannot mention money at all. You cannot say under wants $100,000 in the bank, 10 rental properties, $10,000 a month passive cash flow, no dollar signs, no money. If we mention money, why do you think we do that, by the way? What's that? It puts limits on it. Do you see that? We think this way, but I encourage you to really consider and by the way, if you notice yourself wanting to write money on there, that's just a little kind of indicator for you that, whoa, I've most likely been assuming and correlating money with life. So that's just a test for you. No, nothing that has to do with any kind of income or money or, nothing. Like, I don't want to know how many doors you want or how many flips you do or what your business makes or how much is in your Roth. Like, all that is irrelevant to life. And we're filtering and limiting based on dollars when we write that in there. We want to create a life that is independent of all financial restrictions. Because otherwise, instead of saying someday when, we're just doing it in a version that says like someday when I make this money or someday when I have these rentals or someday when I have this income. So we're getting that out of there. I know that financial security is in a lot of our visions, and that's okay, but let's not put a dollar value on it. Does that make sense? Yes?
So don't put anything that's work related, basically?
Well, you could write something like I have a job or a career that's fulfilling, that's rewarding, that gives, you can say that, but don't say I make $5,000 a month or $10,000 a month. That's the part that I want you to avoid.
Nothing about the kind of work you'd want to do.
That's fine, you can do that.
Couple other points that I want to make that he talks about no money. If you're a couple, if you're married, do not write next to each other. Don't look at each other's papers. Separate yourself. Don't work on your own vision and do your own thing. And don't worry about your spouse. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Are you guys with me?
So that's huge. That's huge because if you do that, you are editing and filtering based on your spouse. We will reconcile these later, but for right now, you want to do it on your own. Is everyone with me?
Yes.
Okay.
And no business talk, like he was talking about. So like what I want my business to look like kind of thing. No business talk.
Yep. All right, so this is going to be a long lunch because we want to get you fueled up.